Summer 1518, the city of Strasbourg throbs with life. Shopkeepers hawk their wares. Children chase pigeons. Lovers whisper sweet nothings. But beneath the surface something stirs. A disquiet, an unease. Folks have faced famine, disease, and despair. Smallpox, syphilis, and starvation have claimed many lives. People are desperate, terrified, and spiritually vulnerable. Then it starts. One woman steps into the street and begins to dance. At first, no one pays much heed. Strasbourg has seen its share of eccentrics. But soon, something becomes clear. This woman isn't dancing for joy or celebration. There's no music, no fiddle, no flute. She dances alone. Driven by some inner compulsion, her movements are wild, frantic, uncontrollable. She whirls and leaps like a creature possessed. Day turns to night, and she dances on. Finally, she collapses. Not from injury or fatigue, but because she must. Her body won't obey any longer. But when the sun rises, she rises with it, compelled once more to move. Her neighbors watch in horror, not knowing what to think. Is she cursed? Possessed? Mad? Within days, others join her. 30 people, then 50, then hundreds more. Men and women alike, young and old, all dancing without rest. Their feet blister, their bodies tremble, yet they dance on. Some scream in pain, others weep as they move. The city's leaders are baffled and afraid. What began as a curiosity has become a crisis. They consult physicians, priests, and scholars, but no one can offer a solution. Theories emerge. Some blame divine punishment, others a spiritual imbalance. To cure the dancers, officials make a bold move. They build wooden stages and open dance halls, hiring musicians to accompany the afflicted. Surely, they reason, the dancers need to dance it out. But the plague only grows stronger. More citizens are drawn into the frenzied movement. Some dance for days without food or water. Others collapse from exhaustion and dehydration. Reports claim people dance until their hearts fail. Death comes not from violence, but from rhythm. The music plays on, and the dancers obey. Strasbourg becomes a city possessed by motion. The streets echo with footsteps and cries. No one can stop the madness unfolding before their eyes. Doctors prescribe more dancing, believing it therapeutic. Priests pray for mercy, fearing divine wrath. Families watch loved ones spiral into delirium, torn between fascination and dread. Some try to restrain the dancers with ropes, but those who touch the afflicted soon dance themselves. The plague lasts nearly 2 full months, an eternity of motion. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it fades. The dancers slow, collapse, and finally stop. The silence that follows is almost deafening. Strasbourg is left stunned, broken, and confused. What truly happened in those chaotic weeks? Was it a medical condition or spiritual hysteria? Centuries later, historians still debate the cause. Some blame ergot poisoning. Ergot is a fungus that can grow on rye bread, and rye is a staple of the Strasbourg diet. When consumed, ergot can cause hallucinations, spasms, and convulsions. But this theory doesn't explain the mass behavior. Others suggest religious ecstasy or demonic possession. But the most accepted theory is psychological contagion, what historian John Waller calls mass psychogenic illness. He theorizes that a mental epidemic struck Strasbourg, brought on by stress and fear. People were so desperate, so terrified, and so spiritually vulnerable that their minds rebelled. They believed in Saint Vitus, patron of dancers, and legend said he cursed those who dishonored him with dancing madness. If someone danced and didn't stop, they were possessed by Saint Vitus. So when Frau Trophia stepped into the street and began to gyrate, people believed she was cursed. That belief spread like wildfire, becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. One woman danced and others followed her lead, compelled by an unseen force. The mind, under pressure, conjured physical symptoms which the body obeyed. The plague wasn't a virus, it was a belief system. A cultural panic turned into a physical epidemic. The dancing plague of 1518 was not unique. Similar outbreaks occurred across Europe in earlier centuries. In 1374, towns along the Rhine were afflicted, but Strasbourg's case was the most dramatic. It was the last major eruption of choriomania, a plague with no pathogen, no cure, no logic. A sickness born from fear, faith, and imagination. The dancers weren't criminals or rebels, but victims of their time and their beliefs. Their suffering was real, their deaths undeniable. Yet their illness defied scientific explanation. Now, over 5 centuries later, we're still searching for answers. What drove Frau Trophia to dance? Why did hundreds join her? What force compelled them to dance until their hearts gave out? The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's strangest mysteries. It reminds us the mind can be contagious. A single image, an idea, a fear can spread like wildfire, taking on a life of its own. It also teaches us to question our perceptions. What seems irrational, inexplicable, even absurd, may have deeper roots than we realize. Sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we cannot see, only feel. When Strasbourg danced itself into legend, it was not celebrating life, but courting tragedy. The music played on, and the dancers obeyed, unaware they were dancing their way to the grave. This was not a party, it was a requiem. The beat went on long after the living had fled. Only ghosts remained to tap their spectral toes to a phantom tune. So when you hear the drums beating in the night and the fiddles calling in the breeze, beware the melody. It may lead to a dance you cannot win. This is the story of the dancing plague, and now it's time for you to tell us what you think. Was this an otherworldly affliction, a product of the human psyche? Let your voice be heard. Share your thoughts below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Every view fuels our journey. And as always, thanks for watching.